It's 1969, a summer night so still, you could hear a pin drop on the cold cement floors of a NASA control room. Outside, the heat of the day has softened, but inside, everything feels like it's on fire. Thousands of people, watching from their living rooms, were glued to their TVs as Neil Armstrong took that legendary step onto the lunar surface, a moment so historic it became embedded in the fabric of American pride. But what if everything you thought you knew about that moment was wrong? Cut to present day, a small, dimly lit office, the sound of papers shuffling, old books creaking under the weight of time. A man, retired astronaut Michael Caldwell, late 70s, weathered by time and secrets, sits hunched over a stack of files. His hands tremble slightly as he reaches for a weathered envelope. On the cover, confidential, for astronaut eyes only. The message inside was clear, the handwriting unmistakable. You know the truth. The world deserves to know. A flicker of recognition crosses Caldwell's face. A flash of panic, then an eerie calm. He slams the envelope down on his desk, scattering papers everywhere. But the truth is right there, in plain sight, staring back at him. The moon landing. Was it real? Or was it all a fabrication? He had been one of the astronauts who almost made it to the moon, but instead, he'd been silenced. Now, the ghost of that silence is starting to haunt him. Caldwell says, I was there, in the heart of it all. I saw things they don't want you to know. It wasn't the shining moment he was promised. No, it was the quiet whispers in the halls, the unmarked files, the late night calls from people he thought he'd never hear from again. And then, the strange disappearance of one man, John Donovan, a fellow astronaut who had gone missing after claiming there was something on the moon, something they didn't want the public to know about. Caldwell's mind races. How far are they willing to go to keep the truth hidden? This wasn't just about the space race. This was about control of information, of history itself. But why was Donovan silenced? Why was Caldwell, too, told to stay quiet about what happened in those final days before Apollo 11 took flight? Caldwell had been part of NASA's backup crew for Apollo 11. He'd trained alongside Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. But at the last moment, he was pulled out. No one ever gave him a straight answer as to why. Was it because of his high-risk medical report? Or was it something far more sinister? He always had a sinking feeling in his gut that his sudden removal from the crew had more to do with politics than safety. After all, a successful moon landing was too important, too symbolic for anything to go wrong. And Caldwell, a man who had been trained to go into space, was left behind. What had really happened in those final weeks leading up to Apollo 11's launch? What was it they didn't want him and the public to know? As the years went by, his thoughts turned darker. The mission was celebrated as the greatest achievement in human history. Yet, Caldwell could never shake the sense that something wasn't right. There were stories, hushed whispers at NASA, of a different kind of mission. A mission that wasn't about exploration. A mission that was about something far more dangerous. Caldwell's fingers hover over the pile of papers in front of him. Old photos, training schedules. But then, one photo stands out. A picture of the lunar module. But it's different. The shadows aren't right. The surface they're standing on looks strange. He flips it over. A single phrase, written in the same unmistakable handwriting as the note. The real landing site isn't where you think it is. A cold chill runs down his spine. It's been decades since he thought about the mission this way. He'd buried those thoughts, buried the truth. But now, it's all coming back to him. The shadow of Apollo 11 is cast longer than he ever imagined. He stands up quickly, knocking the chair back. His heart is pounding. The truth has been sitting there in front of him all along. But why now? Why is someone pushing him to reveal it? Caldwell stares out of his office window into the night. The moon hangs above him like a watchful eye, glowing softly in the sky. His mind races. What was Donovan trying to tell him? Why did they pull him out of the mission? But even more haunting is the question that Caldwell can't quite bring himself to ask. What if Apollo 11 wasn't about exploring space at all? What if it was about something much darker, something much more hidden from the public? And as the clock ticks forward, Caldwell can feel it. Something has started to move, something dangerous. It's as if the walls of history are about to close in on him. The sound of a door creaking open. Something, is watching. Caldwell spins around, but the room is empty. The only noise is his heartbeat, pounding in his ears. What happened on July 20th, 1969? Is the truth about the moon landing still out there, waiting to be uncovered? Or has it already been buried? The phone rings, shrill in the quiet of Caldwell's office. His hand trembles slightly as he reaches for it, his fingers brushing the cold receiver. The silence that follows is heavier than he anticipated. On the other end, a voice, deep, unfamiliar, unsettling. Caldwell, we know you're looking. We know what you found. He freezes. The words hang in the air like a dark cloud. Stop now, the voice continues, or you'll never get the answers you're searching for. Someone else will find them first. The call cuts off abruptly, leaving Caldwell staring at the receiver, pulse racing, his thoughts in chaos. For a moment, he wonders if he's crossed a line, if there's a reason he's been left in the dark all these years. What exactly had they known? And why had he been kept in the shadows? The next day, Caldwell stands in a dusty corner of his local library, sifting through old files and photographs from the Apollo missions. The walls around him seem to close in, the weight of history pressing down on him. One particular image catches his eye. It's grainy, taken from the perspective of a camera on board the lunar lander. The famous photos of the astronauts on the moon have always been iconic. Armstrong's first step, Aldrin's salute to the American flag. But this one is different. It's almost too perfect. The shadows of the lander's legs don't align with the light source. The surface of the moon, far from being a desolate, pockmarked wasteland, is too smooth, too pristine. Caldwell rubs his temples, feeling a headache begin to form. Could this be another clue? Had the photographs of the moon landing been tampered with? Were they hiding something more than just the lunar surface? He flips the photograph over. There's no caption, just a number scrawled on the back. Project Orion. The name sends a shiver through him. He'd heard of Project Orion before, a classified program that supposedly explored ways to use nuclear explosions to power space travel. The project was said to have been canceled long before the Apollo missions. Too dangerous, they claimed. But now Caldwell wonders if there was more to it than the history books told. What if Orion wasn't just about nuclear propulsion? What if it was part of something much larger? Something involving the moon, landing itself. He pulls out his phone, tapping the name into a search engine. What he finds sends a jolt of recognition through him. A string of forum posts, all dated from the early 2000s. They speak of secret military projects, strange experiments, and non-Earth objects found on the moon. The posts are old, their authors anonymous, but there's one consistent theme. The moon landing was a cover-up, and buried in the midst of all the speculation is one chilling detail. Someone else was already on the moon before Apollo 11 landed. As Caldwell reads through the posts, something gnaws at him, a feeling of urgency that he can't explain. The implications are too big, too dark to ignore, but the question gnaws at him. If these people were right, If there was something on the moon that shouldn't have been there, who was keeping that secret? And why? He can feel eyes on him as he reads, as if the walls themselves are watching. It's unsettling. Too many strange occurrences. The phone call, the photos, the whispers of a government cover-up that's lasted for decades. His thoughts are interrupted by a sharp knock on his office door. He jumps, his heart racing. The door opens before he can react. It's his old colleague, Evelyn Parker, a former NASA administrator. They haven't spoken in years. Her face is drawn, as if years of knowing too much had finally caught up with her. "Michael," she says softly, stepping inside, her voice laced with worry. "You shouldn't be looking into this. It's not safe." Evelyn wasn't just a colleague. She'd been there, part of the team responsible for the Apollo 11 mission. She knew the dangers, the stakes, and she had never once spoken publicly about the mission. "Evelyn," Caldwell says, his voice low, almost desperate. "What happened back then? Was it real? Was the moon landing a hoax?" She looks at him, her eyes dark with the weight of years of silence. "It's worse than you think, Michael. The truth. It's more than just a lie about a landing. It's about what happened on the moon, what we found there, and what we had to cover up. You were right to stop searching. You should have left it alone. But now it's too late. The truth is out there, and Caldwell's curiosity has already pulled him too deep." As Caldwell listens to Evelyn's words, a sense of foreboding creeps into his chest. His fingers tremble as he sets the photograph of the lander back down. The moon had always been portrayed as a sterile, empty place, suitable only for flags, footprints, and scientific exploration. But the more he digs, the more it feels like there's something else hiding there. Something that's been deliberately concealed. Evelyn's warning hangs in the air between them, a suffocating cloud. "Why didn't you ever speak out?" Caldwell asks, his voice barely above a whisper. "Why did you stay silent?" She pauses, her gaze darkening. "Because I knew too much, and I was afraid. There are people, powerful people, who would do anything to keep the truth buried. Don't you understand, Michael? They'll stop at nothing." Caldwell stands frozen, the weight of her words pressing down on him. But before he can ask another question, Evelyn grabs his arm, pulling him toward the door. "We need to leave, now." He barely has time to process before she drags him out into the hallway. As they move quickly through the dim-lit corridors of the library, a sudden sound, a footstep, too close, makes Caldwell's blood run cold. They're not alone. Someone is following them. Someone who's been watching him ever since he started digging into the truth. Caldwell and Evelyn break into a run, their footsteps echoing in the empty hallway. Behind them, the sound of pursuers grows louder, closer. The truth is slipping further away with every step. What did NASA really find on the moon? What is Project Orion, and why has it been kept secret for so long? And most importantly, who else is hunting for the answers? The chase has stopped, but the fear hasn't. Caldwell's heart pounds in his chest as he and Evelyn duck into a small, dimly lit cafe at the edge of town. Their breaths come in sharp bursts, the adrenaline still coursing through their veins. The sound of footsteps fades away, but the feeling of being hunted doesn't. Evelyn slumps into a chair, her eyes scanning the windows nervously. "We need to be careful. They've been tracking you for days now. The moment you started poking around the truth about Apollo 11, you set something off." Caldwell looks at her, his mind racing. What did she mean by they? Who had been following him? His mind replays the phone call, the warning, the cryptic message. "Who's after us, Evelyn?" he demands, leaning forward. His voice is low, urgent. "What aren't you telling me?" Evelyn takes a deep breath, her face drawn with years of hidden secrets. She glances over her shoulder, ensuring no one's listening before she speaks. You're not the first to ask questions, and you won't be the last. But you need to understand. Michael, some questions are dangerous. Apollo 11 wasn't just about space exploration. It was about controlling something much bigger. The information, the truth, it's all a part of a bigger game, and they'll protect it at any cost. A few days later, Caldwell is back at his desk. The small office now feeling more like a prison than a sanctuary. He scrolls through more old files, data logs, mission schedules, communication transcripts. Each page seems more innocuous than the last until he stumbles upon something that makes his blood run cold. It's a set of numbers, coordinates, buried deep in a report that's labeled Top Secret Lunar Reconnaissance. The coordinates are marked as Unexplained Anomaly. Caldwell freezes. The number sequence is unlike anything he's seen before. He quickly inputs the coordinates into a mapping program. The location is deep in the Sea of Tranquility, a region of the moon that was famously the site of Apollo 11's historic landing. But there's something off about it. The coordinates don't just pinpoint a location, they lead to a spot that doesn't exist on any standard lunar map. Caldwell runs a few more tests, but the results are the same. The area is missing. It doesn't appear in any official documentation, nor in any photographs or data recorded by NASA during the Apollo missions. The hair on the back of his neck rises. The more he looks at it, the clearer it becomes. This isn't just a mistake. This is deliberate. Someone doesn't want him to find this place. Determined to follow the trail, Caldwell reaches out to an old friend, a retired geologist named Rita Lawson, a specialist in lunar topography who had worked on analyzing photographs from Apollo missions. He asks her for any data that might explain the anomaly. Rita is hesitant at first, but after a few tense minutes, she agrees to meet him in person. When they sit down at a dimly lit diner, Rita slides a worn map across the table. It's ancient, paper faded with age, edges frayed. The map depicts the moon, but with something entirely new. Detailed markings and unknown structures scattered across the lunar surface. "What is this?" Caldwell asks, his voice barely above a whisper. Rita looks around nervously before speaking. "It's a map I found in some old archives, hidden away under layers of government documents. It's a rough sketch of the moon, but it shows a lot more than what NASA ever told us. There are strange anomalies here, Michael. Things that don't make sense." Caldwell traces a finger over the map. In the Sea of Tranquility, a symbol catches his eye. A cross-like shape, a structure that's never been reported in any public record. This symbol, this isn't just random, he murmurs. "What is this? What does it mean?" Rita's face turns pale. "I don't know, but I've seen similar symbols before. The same kind of patterns show up in old military records, even in ancient texts. But I was never allowed to study them further. I was told to forget it." Caldwell's mind races. Could this be connected to the missing coordinates, the anomaly on the moon? Could there be something more out there than just dust and rock? Caldwell spends the next few days obsessively reviewing every bit of information he can find about the moon, every old map, every photograph, every set of data. And the more he looks, the more the pieces begin to fit together. The Sea of Tranquility wasn't just the site of a scientific mission. It was a carefully chosen location, strategically important for reasons that had nothing to do with exploring space. He discovers subtle patterns in the data, geometric shapes hidden within the shadows of the lunar surface. Some structures, resembling abandoned pyramids or towers, dot the landscape in places that were never charted by NASA's official photos. The implications of these discoveries begin to sink in. Could these structures have been on the moon long before Apollo 11 ever set foot there? Could they be evidence of an ancient civilization that predated humanity's space program? Or was it something else entirely? A message, perhaps, hidden in plain sight by the very people who controlled the space race? Each clue feels like a thread being pulled, but with every new discovery, the danger increases. The more Caldwell uncovers, the more he feels eyes on him, watching his every move, listening in on every conversation. Something has been triggered, and whatever it is, it's not willing to let him continue his investigation, unopposed. Caldwell's phone rings late one night. The voice on the other end is gruff, familiar but coated with urgency. "Michael!" the voice growls. "You're digging too deep. Stop now or we won't be able to protect you anymore." Caldwell's stomach tightens. The voice is Evelyn's, but there's something different in her tone now. Fear, desperation. "Evelyn, what's going on?" "You're in over your head," she says, her voice shaking. "They're closing in on you. They're not going to let you expose the truth." The line goes dead before he can respond. And in the eerie silence that follows, Caldwell feels something dark pressing in around him. It's as if the walls themselves are closing in, tightening around him with every moment. The next day, as Caldwell prepares to meet with Rita again, he receives a letter, no return address, just his name scrawled in thick black ink. Inside, a single sentence is written. "The moon hides more than history." As Caldwell holds the letter, his heart races. The stakes have never been higher. The lines between fact and fiction are blurring, and with each new discovery, he's drawn deeper into a web of secrets that could unravel everything he knows. Caldwell stares at the letter in his trembling hands, a cold sweat forming on his brow. He turns to look out the window, but the street below seems empty. Still, he knows he's not alone. The people after him are closer than ever, and they will stop at nothing to keep the truth buried. What is really hidden on the moon, and what is Project Orion? Is the moon really a barren rock, or is there something far more sinister lying beneath its surface? The walls of Caldwell's small office feel like they're closing in around him. Every creak of the floorboards, every shift of light through the blinds feels like a reminder that someone, or something, is watching him. The eerie quiet is broken only by the faint hum of the street outside, but even that doesn't feel safe anymore. Nothing feels safe. Caldwell stares at the letter in his hand. The words written in bold, threatening strokes seem to burn into his mind. The moon hides more than history. He has to know what it means. Has to. But the cost? The danger? He can feel it creeping up on him, a shadow behind his every move. Just then, the phone rings. He doesn't even need to look at the screen to know who it is. The voice on the other end is unmistakable. Evelyn's. But her tone is different now. A rawness. In her voice he's never heard before. "Michael, you have to stop. They're coming for you. I don't know how much longer I can protect you. You're on the edge. And they've been watching every step you take." His pulse quickens, a knot tightening in his stomach. "Who are they?" Evelyn's voice cracks slightly as she continues. The fear unmistakable. "Michael, this isn't just about uncovering the truth anymore. It's about survival. They know what you found, and they won't let you expose it." Caldwell glances at the letter again. His fingers grip it tightly, feeling the weight of the words. He's been piecing together fragments for days now. Clues, patterns, hidden messages. But it feels like every discovery just leads to more questions. His thoughts race. Who's after him? Why is this information so dangerous? "I can't stop now, Evelyn," he says quietly, his voice unwavering, despite the fear creeping into his chest. "I'm this close to the truth. I can feel it. I need to know what's on that damn map." There's a long pause on the other end of the line, followed by a whisper, barely audible. "You don't know what you're asking, Michael." Caldwell's mind flashes back to the first time he'd held that ancient map. The one that revealed mysterious lunar structures and uncharted regions of the moon. Every time he looks at it, the patterns become clearer. He knows now that the Sea of Tranquility isn't just a historical landmark. It's the key to something far darker, something ancient. But as he sits there lost in thought, a cold shiver runs down his spine. Someone is at the door. A soft knock. He freezes. It's too early for visitors, too late for anything normal. His heart skips a beat. Another knock, this one more urgent. Caldwell doesn't move. He feels the world narrowing around him as if he's holding his breath and waiting for the walls to close in, for the truth to come crashing down on him all at once. With trembling hands, he reaches for his phone, but the message he sees on the screen makes his stomach drop. They're here. Don't open the door. Before he can react, the door is flung open, and two men in dark suits step inside. Their faces are unreadable, their presence suffocating. The first man is tall, with a hard face that seems to have been carved from stone. The second is younger, but there's a coldness in his eyes that makes Caldwell feel like a mouse in the presence of a snake. "We need to talk, Mr. Caldwell," the tall man says, his voice low, almost too calm. He doesn't ask if Caldwell is ready to talk. It's more of a statement. Caldwell stands slowly, instinctively backing away from the desk. His mind races, scrambling for a way out. There's no way these men are here to help him. They know something. They've been watching him, waiting for him to get too close. "Who are you?" Caldwell asks, his voice steady, despite the adrenaline flooding his veins. "What do you want?" The younger man smirks, clearly amused by the question. "We don't have time for games, Caldwell. You've uncovered something that was never meant to be found, and now you're a threat to the narrative, to the control we've had for decades." Caldwell's heart sinks. "What are you talking about? I'm just looking for the truth. I'm not trying to hurt anyone." The older man steps forward, his gaze intense. "The truth, Mr. Caldwell, is something only a few of us can handle. You've crossed a line. You've uncovered Project Orion and the secrets of the moon's true history." Caldwell's stomach lurches. Project Orion, the very thing he'd been investigating. It was more than just a classified program. It was a key to everything. To the moon, to the ancient symbols he'd seen, to the mysteries no one was meant to understand. The older man leans in closer, his voice lowering to a dangerous whisper. "Now, you're going to make a choice. You can stop this madness, or you can keep digging. But know this, there are consequences to your actions. There always are." Caldwell feels the weight of their words settle like an anchor in his chest. His mind is racing. These men are more than just government agents. They're something else. And the truth? The truth has never been so dangerous. A long silence stretches between them. Caldwell's mind is a storm of conflicting thoughts. He wants to fight. He wants to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. But the reality of the situation is sinking in. The danger is real. These men, whoever they are willing to do anything to keep the moon's secret buried. "I'm not backing down," Caldwell says, his voice a little weaker than he'd like, but still firm. "I'm going to find out what happened on July 20th, 1969, and I'm going to expose it." The older man nods, the faintest hint of a smile tugging at his lips. "So be it." Without another word, the two men turn and walk out of the office, leaving Caldwell alone with nothing but the weight of their threat. The door shuts behind them with a heavy finality, but just before they leave, the younger man pauses, turning back with a chilling warning. "You should have listened, Mr. Caldwell. The truth doesn't belong to you anymore." Caldwell stands motionless in the middle of the room, his breath shallow. He can feel the words reverberating through him. The the truth doesn't belong to you anymore? Is it too late to turn back now? Can he even escape the web he's become entangled in? Or is the truth so dangerous that there's no going back? His hands are clammy, his thoughts scrambled. The walls of his office now feel like a prison. He's not safe here. He knows that now. The men, whoever they are already closing in, and soon they'll come for him again. As he gathers the last of his things, Caldwell's phone vibrates on the desk. A single message flashes across the screen. It's not just the moon. They've been hiding something here on Earth, too. Get out! They know where you are. Caldwell's blood runs cold. They found him, and now there's no escape. Caldwell hurries to the window, peering out into the street below. For a moment, everything is calm, but his instincts tell him the danger is closer than ever. What truth is buried on the moon? And what is it that they're hiding right here on Earth? The stakes have never been higher, and Caldwell knows if he continues down this path, there's no turning back. The sky outside is dark, the clouds thick with rain. Caldwell sits in his apartment. The lights dim, the only sound the occasional drip of water from a leaky window. His mind is a whirlwind, still reeling from the warning he received. The men in suits, the cryptic message, the very real danger that now surrounds him. He's no longer just searching for the truth, he's fighting to survive. His phone vibrates on the table. For a moment he freezes. Is it them? The men in the dark suits? His eyes dart to the door and then to the window. He should be used to the constant feeling of being watched by now, but the panic still claws at him. He picks up the phone. The message on the screen isn't from Evelyn this time, nor from anyone he recognizes. It's a single line. They've hidden the evidence in plain sight. The answer is on the moon, but you'll need more than a map to find it. The message chills him to his core. He runs his fingers over the glass of the phone, trying to make sense of the words. More than a map. What could that mean? Suddenly, the front door creaks open behind him. His heart races. Caldwell grabs his coat and heads straight to the place he trusts most, the research facility he's been using as a makeshift headquarters. It's a quiet, almost forgotten building on the edge of town, far enough away from prying eyes to give him a small sense of security. He has to keep moving, keep digging. He can't afford to stop now. Inside, the flickering fluorescent lights buzz overhead as he searches through drawers, files, and old equipment. Every document he pulls out is a dead end, a set of meaningless data or coded messages he can't decipher. But then, as he digs deeper, he finds something that doesn't belong. An old, tattered folder buried under years of dust. The label reads, Project Orion, Moonbase Logs, Classified. The words stop him in his tracks. His pulse quickens. This is it. This is the document that could change everything. He opens the folder carefully, scanning the first page. It's a list of dates, coordinates, and strange references to lunar base construction. Caldwell's fingers shake as he flips through more pages. There are reports detailing the construction of structures on the moon. Structures that were never part of the Apollo mission reports. They were built before the landings. He stops on one document, a rough sketch of what looks like a massive underground facility. Its precise coordinates marked with a set of numbers. The date is clear, 1967, 2 years before Apollo 11's famous landing. Caldwell's mind spins. He rereads the documents, trying to make sense of what he's seeing. Could it be true? The idea that a secret base was already operational on the moon before the historic Apollo missions. His gut tells him it's not just a theory, it's reality. The images show intricate structures that seem more advanced than anything humanity could have built at the time. They are not simply landers or research stations. They look like military outposts, weapons installations, even power plants. These are not just scientific facilities. They were designed to control the moon, and by extension, space itself. But the biggest shock comes when he finds a series of photographs black and white images showing the same symbols he saw on the ancient map, the pyramidal shapes, the geometric patterns. They're not just anomalies in the lunar surface. They're intentional. They're part of a design, a message. And the message, Caldwell realizes, is far more disturbing than he could have ever imagined. These structures weren't just built by humanity. The designs, these symbols, they seem alien. The pages are cryptic, but as Caldwell reads through them, the pieces begin to fit together. Project Orion wasn't just a covert space program. It was an attempt to establish a permanent human presence on the moon, a base meant to control not only lunar resources, but also something else, something that had been there long before humanity ever set foot on the surface. The name Orion repeats throughout the documents, mentioned in connection with a secret organization that's been pulling the strings of the space race since the 1960s, a shadow group within NASA and beyond. Caldwell's head swims with questions. What was the true mission of Apollo 11? Were Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin really the first to walk on the moon? Or were they merely the latest in a series of missions designed to hide the truth, the presence of a hidden ancient structure that predates human civilization? The answers lie in one place, that secret lunar base. And Caldwell knows now, without a shadow of a doubt, that they have been hiding the truth all along. The moon is not just a barren rock. It's a vault of hidden history, secrets buried beneath layers of lies. The revelation crashes over Caldwell like a wave. His body goes cold. The photographs, the documents, they all point to one terrifying reality. The structures on the moon, the ones he's been obsessing over, were not built by any nation or government agency. They were built before humankind reached the stars. Suddenly his phone rings again. It's Evelyn. Her voice sounds urgent. Michael, you need to leave. They know you're close. Shh. You found the documents, haven't you? He doesn't answer her right away. Instead, he looks at the file in his hands. The hidden truth is here, in front of him. Everything he's feared, everything he's suspected, is now undeniably real. They were here first, he whispers. Evelyn's voice shakes. It's worse than you think, Michael. They've been planning this for decades. Project Orion, the moon base, it's just the beginning. The real secret is what's buried there. And if you keep going, if you push any further, they won't just silence you, they'll erase you. Caldwell stands there, his mind spinning. The deeper he goes, the darker the truth becomes. The moon, it seems, was never just a place of exploration. It was always a key to something bigger, something that humanity was never meant to understand. The truth about the moon is too dangerous to reveal, and yet it's right there, in front of him. The door creaks open behind him. His heart stops. He knows they found him. He knows it's too late to turn back now. As he turns, a shadow falls across the doorway. Someone steps into the room, a figure he recognizes from the government files, a face he never thought he'd see in person. The man is tall, with a cold, calculating expression. He smiles, a slow, predatory smile. We need to talk, Mr. Caldwell, about what you found. Caldwell stands, frozen in place, as the man steps forward, his footsteps echoing in the silence of the room. The walls close in around him. Every secret he's uncovered, every risk he's taken, has led to this moment. What is buried on the moon, and why does it need to stay hidden? Who are these people, and how far are they willing to go to protect the truth? Caldwell's investigation has just reached a new, terrifying chapter. Caldwell stands frozen, the file heavy in his hands, his mind racing. The man in the doorway, tall, with a cold, calculating smile, takes a step forward. His presence is overwhelming, like a storm looming on the horizon, ready to consume everything in its path. Mr. Caldwell, the man says, his voice smooth, almost comforting, but there's an underlying threat to it. You've been digging in places you shouldn't. And now, well, now it's time to have a conversation. Caldwell's pulse quickens. His legs feel weak, but his resolve is clear. The secrets he's uncovered cannot be buried again. Not now. He's too close, too far gone. There's no going back. He forces a breath out. Who are you? The man smiles, the expression almost cruel. That's not important right now. What matters is what you found. You've uncovered the truth. Project Orion, the lunar base, the structures. You've connected the dots, but you haven't seen the full picture yet. Caldwell swallows hard, his throat dry. The full picture? He's seen enough to know that the truth goes beyond anything he imagined. But the fear gnawing at him won't let him ignore the question that's been eating away at him since the very beginning. Why? Why hide it? Why go to such lengths to erase all this history? The man's smile widens, but there's no warmth in it. Only the chilling realization that Caldwell has crossed a line that can never be uncrossed. Because some truths are too dangerous, Mr. Caldwell. They were never meant to be found. The moon, our true history, it holds secrets that, if revealed, could change everything. We've spent decades controlling the narrative. We've kept humanity in the dark, and we intend to keep it that way. Caldwell's hands tremble as the man steps closer, his eyes never leaving Caldwell's. He doesn't know why, but he feels like he's being sized up, examined under a microscope, like a mouse trapped in a maze, unable to escape. "What do you want from me?" Caldwell asks, his voice barely above a whisper. He knows that there's no reasoning with this man, no negotiations to be had. This is it, the confrontation he's been dreading. The man's eyes narrow, and for a moment he says nothing. Then, in a voice low and sinister, he replies, "We want you to stop. You're in way over your head, Mr. Caldwell. If you keep going, you're not just risking your life, you're risking everything. Your life won't just end, it will be erased, like you never existed." Caldwell's throat tightens, his mind scrambling for an answer. The pieces have been falling into place, but now it's all starting to feel like one terrible puzzle. The moon, the structures, Project Orion, the symbols, everything is connected. But how far does it go? "I can't stop," Caldwell says firmly, though he feels a deep unease settle in his chest. "I need to know what's really out there. I need to know what happened on July 20th, 1969. The world deserves the truth." The man chuckles darkly, a sound that sends a chill down Caldwell's spine. "The world has no idea what it's asking for. You think you're the first to try and expose this? You're not, and you won't be the last." Caldwell's heart sinks as he realizes the truth in the man's words. He's not the first. There have been others before him, people who've come too close to the truth and disappeared. People who dared to ask the questions he's asking now. "They'll come for you," the man warns. "And when they do, there won't be anyone left to help you. No one can protect you, not even the people you think are on your side." For a moment, Caldwell feels trapped, suffocated by the gravity of the situation. His mind races through the possibilities, but they all end the same: danger. These people, whoever they are, have control. Control over the truth, over history, and over his life. He clenches his fists, anger and fear boiling inside him. "I'm not afraid of you." The man's eyes flicker, a flash of something almost amused. "No, you should be." He takes a slow step forward, his shadow swallowing Caldwell whole. "Because while you're busy trying to piece together the truth is already closing in on you. You've seen the files, but you don't fully understand what they mean. what they could do if they're exposed. Caldwell stands his ground, though every instinct in him is screaming to run. What are you talking about? What is it that you're hiding? The man pauses, his gaze hardening. For a moment, it feels like time stops. It's not just the moon, he says finally, his voice dropping to a whisper. It's the technology that was found there, the things we've uncovered, things we were never meant to find. It's not just evidence of ancient civilizations, it's weaponized knowledge. And if that knowledge gets out, it could change everything. The balance of power, control over the world, it could all collapse in an instant. Caldwell's mind spins, trying to process the enormity of what the man is saying. Weaponized knowledge? You're telling me the moon holds not just the moon. The man interrupts, his voice cold. Earth too. It's all connected. We've built an entire structure of control based on the secrets we've hidden for decades. The space race was never about exploration. It was about domination. And now you've found the very heart of it. Caldwell's head throbs as the weight of the situation hits him. This isn't just about a hoax or a conspiracy. It's about something much bigger. The moon, what's been hidden there, isn't just history. It's power. Power that, if unleashed, could shift the very balance of life on Earth. I won't stop, Caldwell says, the words coming out more forcefully than he intends. I won't be a part of your lies. People deserve to know the truth, the real truth. The man's lips curl into a smile again, though it's more a grimace than anything resembling warmth. We'll see about that. You're too far gone now, Caldwell. There's no turning back. They'll be coming for you. And you'll wish you'd never started. The man turns sharply and walks toward the door, his footsteps echoing like a countdown to something dreadful. Before he leaves, he looks back over his shoulder, his gaze cold and calculating. Good luck, Mr. Caldwell. You're going to need it. With that, he exits, the door slamming shut behind him. Caldwell stands in the middle of the room, his breath shallow, his heart pounding in his chest. The walls feel like they're closing in. The door has been opened. The truth is out there, somewhere. But Caldwell knows now that finding it won't just be a matter of uncovering documents and breaking codes. It's a race against time. And there are forces out there that will do anything to make sure he never reaches the end. Caldwell stands at the window, watching the rain pour down. He feels the weight of the world pressing against him. The secrets of the moon are too dangerous to be left uncovered. But now, he can't stop. He's already in too deep. The question remains, what will happen if he exposes the truth? Caldwell hasn't slept in days. The weight of the truth is like a dark cloud hovering over him, and he can feel the pressure mounting. Every sound, every shadow, every glance feels like a threat. There's no escaping the looming danger that's become his new reality. He hasn't heard from Evelyn in days. His only contact with her was a terse text. They're watching you! The message wasn't a warning. It was a plea. She's gone underground. He can feel it. She knows too much, just like he does. And now, it's only a matter of time before someone comes for him, too. Caldwell sits in the dim light of his apartment, the file from the research facility spread out before him. His fingers trace the ancient symbols, the ones that seem to defy every law of physics he's ever known. The lunar structures, the weapons, the power hidden on the moon. He's piecing it all together, but the puzzle keeps shifting, each new piece more terrifying than the last, and with every new discovery, he feels the net closing in. A knock at the door, his heart skips. He knows who it is, the man, the ones who've been tracking him since he started digging into the conspiracy. There's no time to hide the evidence, no time to run. He takes a slow breath. This is it. Caldwell moves toward the door cautiously. His hand shakes as he grips the handle. There's a weight to this moment, a finality to it. He opens the door. Standing in the hallway is a familiar face. It's not the man in the suit, but someone much worse. A woman. Her eyes are cold, calculating, but there's something familiar about her. The way she stands, the way she holds herself. It's Evelyn. Her face is pale, her expression unreadable. She steps inside without waiting for an invitation, her gaze immediately sweeping across the room as if she's checking for something. Caldwell closes the door behind her, suddenly aware of how vulnerable he is. "You shouldn't have come," he says quietly, his voice trembling despite himself. "I didn't have a choice," Evelyn replies, her voice tight. "You've gone too far. You're not just digging up secrets now, you're digging your own grave." Caldwell's mind races, his pulse spiking. "What do you mean? What's going on?" Evelyn looks around the room again, more urgently this time. She lowers her voice. "It's bigger than you think. You've uncovered their plan. You found the truth about the moon, but it's more than just ancient structures. It's about control. Global control. Power that transcends borders, governments, even history itself." Caldwell shakes his head. "I don't care about global control. I care about the truth, the moon, the secret base. It's not just about exploration. It's about domination. They knew about this before Apollo 11. That base, those structures, they weren't human-built. It's not just history we're talking about. It's a weapon." Evelyn's expression softens, but only for a moment. "And that weapon is far more dangerous than you can imagine. It's not just a physical object. The technology buried there can rewrite history. It can control human consciousness. It can make people believe in anything, make them forget the truth, twist their perception of reality." Caldwell's head spins. "But that's insane. You're saying we've known about this for decades, and no one's done anything?" "No one's been able to," Evelyn says, her voice shaking now. "Because whoever controls the truth controls the future. Those who run the programs, Project Orion, the covert lunar missions, they've spent decades ensuring that the moon's secrets never come to light. And the more you uncover, the more you're putting us all at risk." Caldwell feels a cold shiver crawl up his spine. The weight of Evelyn's words hangs heavy in the air. Control human consciousness. How is that possible? But the fear in Evelyn's eyes is real, and it hits him like a punch to the gut. He runs a hand through his hair, pacing in agitation. "So, what do we do now? How do we stop them?" Evelyn looks over her shoulder toward the window. Her eyes dart to the door, her movements sharp and precise. "We don't stop them. At least, not the way you think. We can't fight them head on. You're too exposed. They're everywhere now." Caldwell freezes. "What are you talking about?" "They've been tracking us, Michael. The entire time. The minute you picked up the file from the research center, they knew. They control everything. Communications, people, even our thoughts to an extent. They've been conditioning the public for years through subtle media manipulation, staged events, fake crises. It's all part of a grand plan. And you've just made yourself their number one target." Caldwell's mind races. He feels a sick knot in his stomach. The weight of the conspiracy. It's too big to fight on his own, but it's too late for hesitation. Evelyn grabs his arm, her grip tight and desperate. "Listen to me, Michael. They're coming for you. They'll use anyone to get to you. Friends, family, anyone you trust will turn on you the minute they get to them." Suddenly, the door behind them slams open with a force that rattles the windows. The sound of footsteps in the hallway is unmistakable. Heavy, measured, military. Caldwell's heart drops. He knows what this is. It's not just a warning. It's a raid. Without thinking, he pulls Evelyn toward the back door of the apartment. "We need to go. Now." They're moving too slowly. They've already been spotted. A loud crash from the hallway. Someone's breached the front door. Caldwell reaches for the back door, pulling it open. Evelyn's hand grips his wrist, but her eyes are wide with fear. "They won't stop until they have you. Michael, you have to let it go. You have to run." But Caldwell can't. Not now. They burst into the alleyway behind the building. Caldwell's breath comes in ragged gasps. His mind is a blur of panic and determination. He has to keep running. He has to stay one step ahead. The alley is a dark maze of brick walls and dumpsters. A figure stands at the far end, silhouetted by the faint streetlight. Caldwell's breath catches. It's the man in the suit. "You didn't listen," the man says coldly, stepping forward. "You should have stopped. But now you're going to pay for your curiosity." A shot rings out. Caldwell throws himself to the ground, narrowly avoiding the bullet. The man's face remains expressionless, his fingers still on the trigger. Evelyn screams, pulling Caldwell toward a nearby gate. "This is what you've brought on yourself," the man continues, his voice echoing in the night. "You've unleashed forces you can't understand. Now, it's too late to turn back." The sound of approaching vehicles echoes in the distance. Caldwell feels the weight of his decision pressing on him. There's no escaping this now. He has uncovered too much. The game is over. He pulls Evelyn to her feet, but just as they begin to run again, the lights from the vehicles cut through the alley like a searchlight. The chase has begun in earnest, and the stakes have never been higher. The pounding footsteps behind them grow louder, the relentless pressure of the conspiracy closing in. Caldwell knows he's made his choice. There's no turning back, no way out, and now he must face the consequences of unraveling the greatest secret in human history. The alley is silent now. The pursuit has stopped, but only for a moment. Caldwell can feel the weight of every breath, each one heavier than the last. The air around him is thick with tension, like the calm before a storm, the kind of silence that only comes after something irreversible has been set into motion. Evelyn's grip on his arm is tight, almost desperate, as they dart between shadows, moving toward a place they can't even name. His mind is reeling. Too many questions, too many contradictions, all swirling together in a dizzying storm of uncertainty. The truth about the moon, the conspiracy that spans decades, the powerful forces trying to suppress it all. And now, Caldwell is no longer just an investigator. He's a target. He's a piece on a chessboard, and everyone is watching him. He glances at Evelyn, whose face is pale in the moonlight, eyes darting nervously around. "What now?" he asks, his voice hoarse. "We run," she says simply. But there's something in her voice, a kind of finality. Run and never look back. We don't have a choice. But as they move through the streets, Caldwell knows something deeper. There's no escape from this. They can run, hide, even disappear. But it won't change the fact that the truth is out. The truth about the moon, about the structures, the weaponized knowledge buried there, it's too big to suppress forever. And Caldwell has learned something in all of this. The truth is like fire. Once it starts, it doesn't just burn, it spreads. The safe house is a nondescript apartment on the outskirts of the city, tucked away in a crumbling building that could be anyone's home. But it's not home. It's their prison. A temporary place to regroup before the inevitable. Caldwell knows that the longer they stay in one place, the more dangerous it becomes. The walls have ears, and the air itself feels saturated with the threat of discovery. Inside, the only sound is the ticking of an old clock on the wall. It's oddly peaceful, a stark contrast to the chaos swirling outside. Evelyn is sitting at the small table, looking over her shoulder every few seconds. Caldwell paces, trying to make sense of everything that's happened, but his thoughts keep colliding, shattering into pieces he can't put back together. The man in the suit, the mysterious force that's been hunting him, hasn't just been trying to silence him. It's not about stopping the spread of information. It's about control. Control of a truth so dangerous that even a whisper of it could send the world into chaos. "Evelyn," Caldwell finally says, his voice quiet but firm, "the information we uncovered about the moon, it's more than just a secret. It's not just the structures, the artifacts. It's the technology. It's power. And that's why they're doing everything they can to stop us. They can't afford to have anyone find out." Because if we reveal it, they lose everything. Evelyn looks up from her papers, her expression conflicted. You're right, they don't just want to hide the past, they're hiding the future. Caldwell feels his chest tighten. He knows what this means. If they expose what's on the moon, if they bring this knowledge into the light, it could change everything. Governments would fall, institutions would crumble, and the fragile balance of power that's held humanity in its grip for centuries would disintegrate. We're not just exposing a hoax, Evelyn, he says, his voice strained with the weight of realization. We're exposing the end of the world as we know it. She stands, pacing toward him. The question is, do we expose it? The question hangs in the air like a blade, sharp and unwavering. Can they truly expose what's been hidden for so long? Can they risk the unraveling of everything? And what happens to them if they do? You know what will happen if we don't, Caldwell replies, staring out the window at the dark skyline. They'll keep hiding it, controlling it. They'll continue to play God with people's lives. We can't let that happen. The room feels smaller now, the walls pressing in as the realization sets in. They've crossed a line. There's no going back. The moment they decide to expose the truth, they're signing their own death warrants. But if they don't, they'll become complicit in a system that's controlled humanity for too long. Evelyn's voice breaks through his thoughts, calm, but heavy. Michael, the truth is, not everyone will survive this. Not everyone can. And not everyone should. Caldwell turns sharply to her. What do you mean by that? Her eyes meet his, filled with a quiet sadness. Some truths are too dangerous, and sometimes letting them remain buried is the lesser evil. For the first time, Caldwell realizes the depth of the choice before them. To expose the truth is to invite chaos, destruction, and upheaval. But to let it stay hidden, that's the price of the control, the price of peace, the price of everything they've ever known. He swallows, suddenly aware of the finality of the moment. So we just let it go? Let them keep the power? Evelyn doesn't answer immediately. She's looking at him with something like pity, mixed with a hint of regret. It's not that simple. They want you to believe there's only one path forward, that the truth must be revealed. But that's just a part of the plan. It's the trap. If we reveal it, it might destroy the system, but it might also create a power vacuum, a new kind of chaos, a new order. Caldwell's chest tightens with uncertainty. And what if the chaos is what the world needs? Evelyn steps closer to him, her face almost pleading. What if it's not? What if we can't control what happens next? Caldwell steps toward the door, heart pounding. He feels torn between two forces, the truth and the unknown consequences of unveiling it. The file is still in his bag, the evidence of everything. It's all there. Everything that could bring down an empire of secrets. Maybe the truth needs to come out, he says quietly, more to himself than to her. Maybe this is the only way. Evelyn doesn't stop him, but her voice lingers in the air. Just remember, Michael, there's no going back. Once you open the door, the world will never be the same. Caldwell doesn't answer. His hand hovers over the door handle, and for a moment, time feels suspended. There's a heaviness in his chest, the weight of the decision crushing him. He knows what he has to do, but as he steps out into the night, he doesn't know if he's walking toward salvation or the end of everything. As he walks into the shadows, his mind is racing. The moon, the structures, the weaponized technology, the weapon of knowledge, the secrets that have been hidden for so long. Now, in his hands, he holds the key to everything, and the world will never be the same. But the final question remains, what if the truth is more than we can handle? What if some secrets were meant to stay hidden? The end, or is it? The screen fades to black, the ticking of the clock echoing in the silence. The question lingers, unanswered. What if the moon's secrets could destroy us all?